How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Universal Veteran here again with another video, and today I kind of want to talk about my miniature journey over the past year and my thoughts regarding it and the things that I've learned and things that I have improved and not improved on. First and foremost, I started painting my first miniature of Warhammer 40K back in December 31st of 2024. At that time, I was looking for a new hobby, and since I was already listening to the audiobooks of Warhammer 40K, and I honestly had no interest in playing the tabletop game, I thought, what the hell, might as well try and see if I would actually enjoy painting the models themselves. So for Christmas, I got myself a box of Custodian Wardens and proceeded to paint my first 5 miniatures. And since then, over the past year, I've painted a total of 311 miniatures since then. I started off with Custodies, then I moved to Death Guard, where I painted a box of 7 Plague Marines. From there, it then spiraled into a menagerie of different armies, from Flesh Terrors to Nurgle units to more Custodies to all of the champions of the Custodies. I then started I painted a Baneblade tank. I painted at least 1 Valkyrie. I think that's what it's called. I also painted a few Leman Russes. And then the majority, or no, I've moved on to orcs. I've painted 3 different types of orcs in 3 different color schemes. I've also painted Tyranids. I'm now painting the Death Corps of Krieg. And overall, I think at this point, I have come to appreciate the aesthetics of Nurgle and the Death Guard over the majority of paintable miniatures. I've kind of gravitated towards the grim dark aspect of painting. That's kind of the style that I feel the most comfortable in, and the style of painting that I enjoy the most. I'm not too big on flashy and bright colors. I don't do too well when it comes to bringing out the really brightness of models. So as an example, you could say Space Marines. I'm not one for painting a Space Marine in very flashy colors. I will dabble on occasion on OSL and will try to implement glowing effects from plasma guns, or the glow from a ricochet round, or from a flamethrower, or even a Melta. There's plenty of weapons in that aspect that I will definitely do glow effects on. Maybe it's like jump packs, or maybe the glowing effect of the helmet visor on a Space Marine. But for the most part, when it comes to overall armor, skin, and whatnot, I'm very keen on painting everything in a dark, grimy, gross fashion. So because of that, I have gravitated towards Death Guard a lot more. I've definitely painted the majority of my 311 miniatures are primarily Death Guard related. I have painted almost one of each of every Death Guard variant that you can make, between the Plague Marines and all of the preceding Nurgle units, with the Plague Bearers, the Plague Drones, and all of them. At this point, I still have a crap ton of Death Guard to do, just because I have purchased extra units, and there are still some models that I haven't actually painted yet, like the Death Shroud Terminators. There's a Kill Team box that I have yet to paint, and then a few Etsy models that I've gotten off of Etsy that are Death Guard related as well. On top of that, the new Maggot Can of Nurgle dropped, which I have proceeded to buy every single one of them. But unfortunately, those don't ship until the 17th of January, so I still have at least a week before I can even get my hands on them. But yeah, like I said, I feel like I'm more comfortable painting skin in a dark manner, zombies, gross, fleshy shit. That is definitely where my go-to is and where I feel like I find the most joy. I still will paint like a custodian in a bright aspect of gold and whatnot, but even then I still gravitate more towards Shadow Keepers and the black aesthetic armor with the gold trimming, and I will still put like a enamel wash over the model itself to give it that dirty, grimy feel of a custodian being like in the thick of battle, you know. I've learned a lot over the past year in terms of the different painting techniques and different ways of painting and combining paints to give you different color schemes when it comes to the models themselves. But overall, I feel like my painting style has really blossomed into what I enjoy, but it is also stagnated in terms of improving and adding different techniques into the mix when it comes to the painting, which at one point in time I was kind of upset about, that I wasn't really improving and I wasn't getting better. But now I am more contented and more comfortable and confident in my abilities to not produce the best miniature on the planet, but I can paint to a level that is above average for the average wargaming experience. I'm definitely not a good painter by any means, but I do have things that I excel at and things that I enjoy doing more than others. So hopefully in the future, as you look at my channel and you see all the new models that I paint going across 2026, you can appreciate the style of models that and my painting that I enjoy doing going forward. The future is bright in terms of what I have available. I did a quick count and I have 279, not including the new Maggot Can of Nurgle models that are coming in the mail, models to paint. So I definitely have a large variety of things to do in the future. My first drawer contains all of my Death Guard and Nurgle units. That is filled with the brim of models to paint. Below that are all my orcs, and I probably have another 50 orcs that I can paint, all different and unique in their own aspect, which is nice. Below that you have the custodians and you have the Space Marines. I still have about 8 custodians left, 4 Shadow Keepers and 4 traditional gold models. I still have Radagast and the 3rd variant of the Great Unclean One that I need to paint. I also have the demonic demon female that I'm going to be painting pretty soon. On top of that, I still have Squigs and Gretchen that I need to paint as well. I don't know how many of those I have, to be honest. And then I have my larger Dreadnought Death Guard Etsy models. I have a few Scythe Terminator Death Guard that I got off of Etsy as well. And then I have a shit ton of Death Corps of Krieg that I'm going to be painting. I recently got my hands on 6 of the horses, so I will have an entire little squad of Death Riders to once I get everything painted. I also have some Krieg artillery from Etsy coming in the mail, since I couldn't be bothered to actually pay the full price for the few models that they have on for GW when it comes to the Krieg. I'll eventually get those, but the Etsy ones were a hell of a lot cheaper than GW's version. And then I also have, for a piece that I'm really looking forward to do but kind of scared to paint, is my Big E V2. I got that model from Major Kill a few months back. I've primed him, broke his sword by accident because it dropped on the ground, glued it back on there, and have him sitting right in the head of my custodian guard unit. So I still need to fill both sides before I actually attempt to paint the Emperor. I probably can fit another, I'm thinking about getting 2 more squads of custodian Terminators, just to kind of give him a little bodyguard. And I plan on, after I finish those, I plan on painting him thoroughly. I still haven't decided on my painting scheme of what I'm going to do, but hopefully by that time I'll have some kind of idea of what armor I want him to represent. 2026 looks bright, like I said. I have plenty of models, plenty of paint, plenty of brushes, and everything I need to base and model pretty much all close to 300 of my guys in my drawer, so I'm not at risk of running out anytime soon. I'm going to still try to paint as much as I can throughout the week. There's no set number in stone, but I try to shoot for at least three average per week. I know this year I'll probably paint less versus what I've done in the past, and there might be instances where I paint, batches of Flesh Terrors or Plague Bearers, because I have a shit ton of that. I'm also painting or building a diorama for the Garden of Nurgle. That's a work in progress. I have laid the foundations of the XPS foam. I've put some I can't think of the name, Milliput down on top of that, and then I've also added some AK Dark Forest mud on top of that as well. So the sides and the back, or the sides and the roof of the diorama, have pretty much been finished at this point. Overall, it's been a good year. This is definitely a hobby that I plan on doing for the rest of my life. There is almost no chance in hell that this is something that I'm going to quit. I have finally found the one hobby that I can say that I'm going to spend my life pursuing and enjoying. It may not necessarily be Warhammer 40K for the remaining 70 years of my life, but regardless, painting miniatures will be an aspect of my existence that will continue until I'm dead, whether that's at model 400 or model 9000. Regardless, I'm going to, as long as YouTube allows me to, keep you guys updated on my miniature journey. I will do milestones every so often, maybe every 100 models. I will paint something different, something new, maybe a large project or something big, who knows. I'm still only at 311, so here's the 400, 500, and eventually 1,000. So if you guys did enjoy this video, here's to 2026 on my miniature painting journey. I hope to catch you guys in the next video. Peace out as always, and have a nice night, guys.